Hello YouTube, this is Tammy Pie and I'm back with another video. This is video number 8 in the Spirit Keepers Tarot Deep Dive series. And we're going to go over, I said we were going to do 5, but we're going to do 7 cards that I almost never like to see in a reading that generally mean something kind of negative, or at least a little scary, a little sad, a little hard to deal with. So then we're gonna, I think in my next 2 videos are gonna be all on the courts. We'll do just 2 videos on courts. And there are several majors and I think a couple of minors I want to do that are very dual purpose. They can be kind of like scales, balancey, and then whatever's left. And I think that I will actually get this done in 12, maybe 13. That would be cool. After this video, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can try to film the hashtag Seance Circle spread by Rumor Haven, which is really cool. And I'm definitely going to use an SKT in that. So yeah, let's turn the camera down and get on with it. Okay, so really quickly I'm going to go through the cards. We're going to look at the burdened one, which is the 10 of Scepters. We're going to look at the Reaper, which is key 13. We're going to look at the Bereaved, 3 of Swords. We're going to look at the Hector, which is 5 of Swords. We're going to look at the Tower, key 16. We're going to look at the Captor, which is 8 of Swords. And we're going to look at the Vagabond, which is 5 of Orbs, or 5 of Pentacles. And I think what I'm going to do is, a lot of these are swords. I'll do the majors first, then I'll go by number. Okay, so we'll start with Death, or the Reaper, as Benabel calls it. And so I started doing this video on Friday, but my mom had just come back from the mainland, and she was outside waiting, which is really hot outside. And so I saw on my messages that she was messaging me, and I quick opened it up and was like, oh God, okay, yeah. So I went down and got her, and we hung out together and spent a bunch of time. And suffice it to say, this is the first time I've had a chance to continue on with the video. I am going to give you both Thoth. Oh, wait. I need to go out a little bit. And hopefully I remembered, yeah, RWS to look at. So right away you can see how he very much resembles the RWS. He's on the white horse with the black armor and the red feather, etc., etc. But you can also see there's the scorpion, and there's the scorpion because it's the card of Scorpio. Okay, so because it is a zodiacal major, it's worth 12. And then I believe this is, let me check to make sure, but I think that's mountain. Let me look. Incorrect. That is the trigram for wind. So that's interesting. The winds of change, perhaps. Okay. This is actually a kind of a short episode or chapter entry. This is a short entry in the Book of Maps. She does not say a whole lot because this is the card of There are the 4 like witchy precepts to dare, to know, to do, and to be silent. And this is to be silent. So I think that's a part of it. But also this whole reaping in order to begin again. So quite commonly, people think of death as this is an end so that you can start over or start to do another thing. For instance, I was watching somebody's video on the new cracked amethyst tarot, which has a dead tree stump with mushrooms growing, a whole biome of mushrooms growing out of it. So yes, from death comes new life. However, it's still death. You're still getting reaped, and no one escapes that, right? So here's the boat sailing on the river Styx, and Lucem Secumor. This is going from the light to the dark. So where the hermit is coming from the dark to the light, this is the opposite. So something bad has to happen first. And let me tell you what, I know I am not the only one who has drawn death when it actually meant death. So, don't be so fast to presume that everything is going to be fine. I mean, everything is going to be fine because death is a part of nature, right? But this death is like a sacred fisherman. Look at him catching fish in the net here. Anyway, so that is death, and I'll definitely put up 1 or 2 little pieces from the Book of Maps so you can read them. Here we have the Tower. Okay, and I've already had a couple conversations with people with regard to, what about this and what about that? And the later on, after I do the courts, I'm definitely going to do a selection of cards that I think, some cards mean close to each other. Some like you think, okay, the Tower is a dramatic end. So is death. Well, the Tower is something that kind of can come from above. If you listen to T. Susan Chang's tarot podcast, a lot of why I enjoy listening to her is because she has been doing card a day for like years and years and years and keeps track of it. So she talks about how the cards can actually be very kind of descriptive. So this can actually be like lightning striking your house, or something happening to your roof, or falling out of a window, or, things like that. Well, there's also this whole dramatic, this tower fell down because it was built up for the wrong reasons, or built up on the wrong what is this, the bottom part of it, when the bottom part of your building is not good or stable in the first place, then no matter how tall it gets, it's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. So although this can be kind of a good thing, because you want this to be you want the rotten tree to be cut down before it poisons the rest of the forest. Okay? So in a way, this dramatic thing, even though it can be scary or like for instance, if you have recently lost your job, that's really frightening. People have to pay their bills. But sometimes that has happened because there's another thing that you need to be doing and that you haven't had a chance to. Okay? So the Tower can be really scary, really freaky, but it also can set something free. Okay? I also sometimes look at the Tower as the possibility of a child. So maybe an unexpected pregnancy. And it can also be inspiration that comes out of nowhere, right? This amazing eye of God coming down and saying, okay, now everything has changed. All right, so we're going to take that out and we'll go to the next. All right, here we have the Bereaved, which is the Three of Swords. Oh, hang on just a second. I forgot to say, this is Mars. It counts as 9 when card counting because it's one of the planetary majors. And this is Thunder. Duh, Thunder. Okay, so the Bereaved, Three of Swords. This is Saturn in Libra. Okay, and this is Heaven because it's a 3. It counts as 3. And this is this is Isis brokenhearted because her son has been killed and torn apart, right? So from this comes the new Aeon. Horus, arrives because of this. However, at the time, it hurts. It's a bummer. And of course, there is, I think Crowley calls it sorrow. And our RWS card, which I don't know why everybody hates it, but they do. For some reason, everybody got it in their heads that they didn't like this card. Okay, whatever. But you can see where the two are a little bit here. You can see the color here. You can see the swords are sticking through the heart. The clouds, okay? So to me, this is clouds parting. This is somebody learning something, somebody getting something out of, but it is going to be a hard-won lesson. And so it's a difficult card to get in a reading because whatever the situation is, it isn't easy. It's hard to like give up on that painting that you've already put 2 weeks of work into when you really thought you had something going, but you realize, oh man, I made a mistake very early on. Nothing is working and I'm going to have to just start over, right? So I'll put some more stuff about the Three of Swords because she really does go into this story quite a bit. And, of course, there's tablets back here and all kinds of stuff. But basically, it's the Three of Swords. It's lesson learned, but the hard way. So a lot of the scary cards are swords, but also fives, right? So we have the Five of Orbs here. I could have done the Five of Swords first, but this one was sitting here. And here we have it in the Thoth, and here we have it in RWS. I'm trying to remember what the Thoth keyword is. Let me look it up. Okay, yeah, worry. So, and interestingly enough, when I was first reading, I kept getting all these cards like worry and strife and intervention and just kind of cards that seemed like they meant something terrible because of the keyword. But I mean, like I said before, when I was talking about the Tower, this is a situation where you may have gotten a bill that you just have no idea how you're going to deal with it. Like, for instance, car bills. You got to have your car to get to work. But if you have to replace like an entire part of it, man, nowadays cars are $50,000. And if you have to replace the what do you call it? The steering mechanism, it can be thousands of dollars. And there are situations that just will freak you out completely. You gotta love, though, this great cathedral in the background. The orbs are this Thoth blue, and it is Mercury in Taurus, which, that to me sounds like quick pleasure or doing something too quickly. Maybe. This trigram is for Earth, and of course it is worth 5 because it's a 5. You have the whole lighted window here, and the people walking past, not realizing that they could be warm and cozy inside, or maybe realizing it but just being turned away. And sometimes the 5 of coins can be like that to us, or 5 of discs, 5 of orbs. It can be very much a situation where, well, I need help, but I don't want to ask. Or I don't know who to ask. Or what if they say no, right? So I'll put some screenshots of Book of Maps stuff. She talks more about this cathedral. So I really like this card because Benabel is such a good storyteller. But drawing this card in a reading can be kind of a bummer, because this is the Pyrrhic victory card. This is the guy who's gonna get in a fight. He's gonna do something bad, and he's almost already kind of started doing it and can't stop himself from doing it. And no matter what the situation is, there's no winning. And we have here the so this is Aphrodite, I believe, the Greek goddess of beauty, but she's also, I think, the goddess of victory in war. And this is the owl, which is Athena. So these two guys are in the Trojan War. I think this is Achilles, and this might be Paris. But this guy is Paris's brother, who ends up in a fight even though he did not support this war. He did not want his brother to even marry this girl, but Aphrodite gave him the most beautiful woman in the world, who just so happened to be married to someone else already, which causes big, huge war, right? So this guy goes and fights for his brother and ends up getting killed through no fault of his own. He didn't even do anything. He was a great warrior, but what's the point? Nothing. The whole war ends up being for nothing, right? And so we have from Thoth defeat, right? And this whole, the swords are busted up, and they've been fighting for a while. These guys too. This guy is acting all sassy for no good reason. There's people lying around, unhealthy. And the sky has got windy clouds in it. This is not good. Nothing good will come of this. So getting this in a reading, it's like, I know you're going to do what you're going to do, but after you're done doing it, you're going to be sorry. Here is a another great Greek story. This tower is in something else. I think this tower is in maybe the healer. I forget what it is. I'll put the page in the book of maps that tells you where it is. But this is interference. So this is something stopping you, right? What is it that's stopping you? And, RWS readers will tell you this is all in your head. It's a mental blockage, but you have these moments of almost like being frozen for a reason. There's a reason for fear, usually, so you need to learn a lesson. But the story she tells about Hypatia is really terrible, because this is somebody who was well educated, did good things with her education, and just so happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. So she ends up a captive and finally kind of a martyr to knowledge and intelligence. And even though she's remembered well in history, it's kind of really tragic, because there's no good reason to kill this person other than, freaking stinking stupid patriarchy, right? So the shape of these swords kind of reminds you of this, although it isn't exactly, it's similar. And you can see both cards in that. More Thoth, I have to admit. But back here you see a castle, and there's a castle back here, which is probably like a Roman city or a Greek city. And here, these are the 7 muses, and I'll insert a picture of the 7 muses that she drew in here in this card that you can barely see. And I try and give you like a larger picture of every card so that you can kind of see some stuff, and I'll highlight that part of it. But let's move on to our last card. Okay, so this is the burdened one, or what is it called in Thoth? Hang on. Oppression. Okay. So, again, this has like a really good long story to it. I forget which card also had these pillars in it, but it's a card I've already been over. I'll try and put it on the screen here. But oppression, you can see the wands or the scepters are kind of in the same shape, although this one they're all in a nice handy dandy, easily carried bunch. This is Atlas holding up the universe. And I thought I have this book called what is this book called? The Celestial Atlas, that has a bunch of different artworks that have similar things like this. I thought maybe I had the one that she took this from, but I didn't. So I'll just put Book of Maps. If I get a chance, I'll do the book too. But so the thing about this is, and this is, originally this card was more about these hands. You're holding up all this stuff, but you also have this spiritual help, right? And these seals here are like godly spiritual help. So the reason this is happening to you, the reason you are doing all this hard work, is because you have the gifts which allow you to do it. However, it's kind of hard when you pull this card and I have a friend that I pull this card for fairly often, unfortunately. And it is because she is under enormous pressure, and somehow she still keeps going. And believe me, it is financial, it is emotional, it is just all this stuff, and she handles it so gracefully. And I'm her friend and her tarot reader, so of course she's gonna say, why do I have to do this? Why does this always happen to me? When is this going to end? Which are generally what I'm doing tarot readings for. When is this going to end? And I'm always getting this, poor thing, oppression card. But the fact of the matter is, when you get this, even though it's going to be hard, you're going to be able to handle it. And also, tens are, this too must end. So the hard work is happening, but once that job is done, you can look back and go, I did that. I really, really did that. It's like, getting your master's degree. It isn't easy, and sometimes it's torture, but when you're done, you did that, right? Okay, I am going to turn it over and put the reading in here. And I might, let's see if you can see it. Can you see this from the Celestial Atlas? Look at these cool pictures. This is just like, we go to library book sales and stuff like that. This is just it's a collection of different works of art that were done like a really long time ago, in medieval times usually, by several different artists, showing a lot of times the sky over the world and the astrological stuff that's in here. It's really cool. Here we go with the reading for today's video. And this is a reading that I actually did on Friday. Today is Tuesday. But the reason I'm showing it, long and short of it, is my mom dropped by on Friday, and I had just finished watching a live with Jilly at Little Zen Crone. That's Little Zen Crone on YouTube here. And she was doing an equinox spread, the New Moon in Virgo, Autumnal Equinox, Venus in Virgo tarot spread. Okay, I know it's a mouthful. I'll put a screenshot of it here. You can take a screenshot of my screenshot, or you can, I'm also going to leave you a link to it. She put it in a post in her post section of her YouTube videos. So anyway, and I was like 3/4 of the way of prepping for my video when I stopped to watch the live, because I was like, oh wow, I caught a live with Jilly. I really enjoy her content, and she's always got like not that many people there, but all the people there are interesting people. So I was totally gonna do that. So while we were doing this spread together live, you're not going to believe the cards that came up. Okay, so let's just go over this. So long and short is, that's why I decided to use this in this video. So the first card, the first place, is the Seed of Intention, which is for the new moon in Virgo. What is ready to be planted with care and specificity. And for that, I got the Sacred Word, or the Ace of Swords, the crowning. So to me, when I see the Ace of Swords, it's, what does a sword do? The sword cuts. The sword is very, it begins to dig through things and make them plain, make them understood, right? So what I need to do is be more verbal, be more vocal, show more of what I need done and what I need to do. And I need to do that in a verbal way. I love this ace, by the way. Notice the little red in my video where I describe the aces. I think I put a page from the Book of Maps that tells you about the writing on the blade. Anyway, so the crowning, it's where you really need to begin to make your needs known verbally. Speak up, right? So the second portion, or the second card position, is the balance point, which is for equinox or Mabon. And this is where in my life I need to restore balance between giving, receiving, life, light and shadow, the two sides of everything, right? And what should I get but the captor, which is Jupiter and Gemini. Okay, and here is Hypatia again. And this is, I'm getting myself all tied up, right? I have tied myself in a knot, and I need to untie some of these knots. Now, there's usually a reason for all that, as we discussed earlier. And so what I need to do is begin to examine with reality and possibly verbally what all is going on in my life that's tying me up. What's keeping me tied in a knot. Okay. The eclipse shadow, or for the solar eclipse, what hidden influence, pattern, or truth is being revealed, and what am I being asked to release or integrate in the next 6 months? And for this, I couldn't believe this, I got the Tower. All right. So over the next 6 months, I'm being asked to open my mind to things that I have not considered before, to things that maybe I've been, maybe I started out on an uneasy ground, and I need to really realize that these things are going to happen whether I like it or not. Okay. The eye is watching, right? And there's the lightning there that's coming. This is the thing from the demon, which I don't think we've gone over the demon yet. I think I'm going to do the demon in duality. I think I have a whole list of majors and maybe a couple minors that are very dual, very light and dark, right? So that works, right? That works with me trying to do too much, trying to think too many things, and I'm falling apart here. Okay? So the fourth prompt is sacred practicality, which is Venus in Virgo. And that is, how can I bring more authenticity, groundedness, and intentional love into my relationships with myself and others? You can't make this up, right? All right, so this is the Lovers. So it's almost too perfect. It is a situation where you need to choose to do what you know you should. Choose to do the things that make the people you love feel loved. And of course, you think you do that, but then you know, there's always those times when you're like, well, I don't have time for that. Or I tried to call, but you only let the phone ring. You didn't leave a message. You didn't make a plan. So I'm seeing here for this card in particular, there are situations where I could plan better to make those people feel the love, but also make plans for myself as well to get myself out of this knot and also not to be on shaky ground. I want to be stable and solid. I want to make it known that this is where I am and this is where I want to be, right? Okay, so that is this is a mouthful. New Moon in Virgo, Autumnal Equinox, Venus in Virgo Tarot Spread by Little Zen Crone. And yeah, go out there and get you some, and let her know if you post this. You can see her either, but I believe she's on Instagram as well, because she comments on my Instagram all the time. So yeah, thank you for coming.